SeaWorld is known for their awesome family shows, particularly around various animals. They have been trying to standardize their shows across their parks, but do have a few shows unique to each park. For 2026, SeaWorld returned Electric Ocean shows for the summer. So we have shows like Sea Lions Tonite and Shamu's Celebration Light Up the Night. But which are my favorite? Find out as I count down the shows at SeaWorld San Antonio for the summer of 2026. Of note, SeaWorld lists a bunch of keeper talks and such as shows on their app. This normally isn't too hard to sort through during the summer, but is annoying to filter through the smaller shows during their Christmas event. I am only ranking either shows in an actual stadium, stage, or parade, and excluding their seasonal shows such as those during Christmas or Mardi Gras. I do work weekends, and this hasn't been an issue with most SeaWorld shows in the past, but the Illuminite drone finale is a weekend-only show this summer. Likely, this would slot somewhere ahead of the parade, though I'm sure a video of it is not the same as actually being in Bayside Stadium. Number 10. Rescue Junior Animal Talk. This show is really short, at only 5 minutes, and mainly seemed to be a photo and question op for kids, instead of like a real show, which is pretty disappointing as SeaWorld has done a full 15-minute presentation of this with their Cajun Critters show during Mardi Gras in the past, though even that has been shortened to around 7 minutes this year. Some of this could be the lack of shade in the Rescue Junior Theater, but families did start to crowd around once the show began. Even in a better form, it is still just an animal ambassador talking about and showing off an animal in their care, which really isn't like crazy exciting, but is engaging for families and really should be the heart and center of what Rescue Junior is. Number 9. ImaginOcean. This kids show is really cute, and watching the puppets do various tricks is both mesmerizing and a real honor. It only ranks this low just because I actually enjoy all of the other shows at SeaWorld a lot. The problem is, the show is marketed as a family experience, and it really is just for kids in the 3 to 6-year-old age range, with few jokes or engagement points for older children, let alone us adults. For young kids, the show is fantastic, and it does its job so well. And both my wife and my mom, they do really like this show. As an adult though, it is likely skippable unless you really want to see all of the cool tricks that they do with the puppets, which is well worth seeing. In the past, the show had about a 35-minute runtime, with 5 minutes of warm-up and 30-plus minutes of showtime. This year, that has been shortened to 25 minutes, with about 20 minutes of actual showtime. So it has been slimmed down, which is fine given the attention span of young guests. It just means that there's a few less engagement points, especially for us adults, as the full script that SeaWorld is borrowing for the show is for an hour-long production. Number 8. Rescue Junior Extravaganzabration. This dance party show creates a fun atmosphere with song and dance, and brings out the big man himself, Shamu, which is always a nice touch for any family show. I'm not a huge fan of this style of show, but it does work for its main audience of kids in Rescue Junior, and is a neat experience for all ages. I just wish the stage wasn't so hot, as I'm always melting in the sun watching this, and my GoPro has overheated the last 2 times that I've watched it. Number 7. Flippers, Facts, and Fun. The Sea Lion Experience. This replaced the Sea Lion and Otter Spotlight in the summer of 2024, which replaced Sea Lion High. Sea Lion High was a terrific blend of comedy and the animals that created a truly engaging experience for all. In that form, this show was near the top of this list. The Spotlight show simply had a cast of animal keepers going around doing silly antics in a story that was not nearly as engaging, but I guess it showed the sea lions. This newer show, Flippers, Facts, and Fun, has a more limited cast, as only 2 main characters are really present on stage. Given that this show normally plays comedically on the different characters, this is kind of unfortunate. But what they do have is an upgrade over the Spotlight show, as you learn a few interesting facts about sea lions and get to see the sea lions do a bit more than they normally have done in past shows. And of course, there is still the mime Charlie to warm up guests, so you will want to get here about 15 minutes early to catch that. Number 6. RhythMotion Ocean Parade. The new for 2025 parade replaced the beloved Sesame Street Party Parade. For kids and even us adults, seeing the Sesame Street characters was always special. But now, the parade does have broader appeal, as the music and cast easily can appeal to both kids and adults alike. The parade did stop at both the pathway by the entrance and then again in Rescue Junior, so there are many places and chances to see the parade. Most families seem to have learned to line up by the entrance, as there's just more shade here nowadays. Though there is a small shaded area in Rescue Junior as well. With only one real song, the music is very repetitive. So I'd really like to see a bit more variety in this parade. But it is still pretty fun for what it is. Of note, the parade time has changed to 6:15 some days and 7:15 when the park is open later. And it does start then instead of 5 minutes late, as with the previous parade. Number 5. Ocean Discovery. In the past, this gave some nice views of the dolphins and belugas, and was getting slightly better with what the animals were able to do, but it still was not one of my favorite shows. But for 2026, the show has gotten an entire refresh that includes a small storyline of a hiker searching for these animals in the Pacific Northwest. I feel these scenes assume that they were like screens, like in the Orca Encounter stadium, as it can be hard to actually see this person when she's talking. But I love that they're trying to update this show, even if the script could just be slightly better. The actual dolphins and belugas, though, are way better in this format, as they finally do more than they've ever done before. And the various songs are coordinated wonderfully with their actions, so it is really an impressive performance that made me a bit emotional. With the new choreography, it may not be as important to sit close to the bottom as I felt like it has been in the past, as you got by far the best viewing angles from being in the first 30 rows. The splash zone has changed with the new show, so the first 3 rows will get wet, with only light sprinkles in row 4 and beyond, unlike in the past, where it really was only the first 2 rows that ever got wet. This was a surprising update for this year, but I'm glad that Ocean Discovery is finally a truly enjoyable show. Number 4. Orca Encounter. This is the bread and butter of SeaWorld, and it is always incredible to see the orcas. At this point though, I've seen this show many times, as they haven't really updated it since 2020. If you don't mind getting wet, get as close as you can to get incredible views of these creatures. The show does focus more on conservation and just kind of showing off the orcas, instead of creating a story or other more engaging theatrical elements, which does make it feel like it's a little less than maybe it could be. Given SeaWorld's rebranding, I can't understand why this show is the way it is, but I just feel like there could be more here. My wife has this as her favorite show, and favorite thing about SeaWorld altogether, so it could easily be higher on a list like this. Number 3. Shamu Celebration. Light Up the Night. This takes Orca Encounter and adds a bit more things that the orcas do, while adding dance music to spice things up just a bit more. It is really cool finally seeing one of these shows with a Shamu name, and the music and lights adds that extra touch around these unique animals. There is also a 15-minute pre-show that has the MC telling guests to get up and dance so that you can be even more hyped for the show itself. Also, you don't have to sit through those long videos about conservation and taking care of the environment like with Orca Encounter. So you can really just enjoy seeing the killer whales and dancing along with the music. Number 2. HydroPower Xtreme FX. The End of Night Summer Spectacular is a real treat. They have a house band playing various rock songs from the 80s, so if you know that kind of music, it is nice to hear those songs. Then they have pyrotechnics and fireworks that accompany the various tricks that the water skiers will be doing out on the water. Normally, this show has been done at twilight, but was moved up with SeaWorld closing on weeknights at 8 p.m. instead of 9 p.m. during the summer. The meat of the show is still the same if you see it during this time, but the lights and fireworks just aren't as magical in the daytime. Still, after a long day at SeaWorld, this is a nice way to relax, while also getting me hyped up enough to stay awake for the drive home. And just such a great way to end one's evening. Number 1. Sea Lions Tonite. This show is hilarious, with great jabs at SeaWorld itself. So if you know the park, or just had a day experiencing it, then you should be able to appreciate most of the jokes. The best joke this time around was that they don't have a park map.
An app?
An app.
No map.
No map.
Ah, crap.
Exactly. Everything that you need is found on the app.
Oh, okay, I get it. Saving paper, one ocean and all. I'll just try.
Good luck with that. Oh, and have a whale of a day.
Thanks for nothing. Okay, let's check it out, bud.
And you have to use their app. I'm well aware of this as I have an old map from the early 2000s up on my wall, as I haven't been able to get a more recent one. The jokes and skits did seem a bit drawn out, sometimes being close to like 5 minutes long, instead of more like rapid fire sets of jokes that this show has done in the past. So they do miss making fun of as much as they used to in previous versions of the show, which is just kind of unfortunate. For example, they removed my favorite joke, where they visit the penguins, and it's just like 20 seconds of them seeing the penguins on a stick, which, given Penguin Encounter at SeaWorld San Antonio, is just so accurate. Despite minor drawbacks, this show had me laughing the entire time, and is easily one of the best amusement park shows that I will see this year. Which shows at SeaWorld are your favorite? If there are any past shows that you liked, let me know as well. And, as always, Kapkun Krap.